everyone, and welcome to Laws of Community.
Yes, good afternoon, all.
This is Hannah Summerall, your main host for today, and co-hosting with me is my mom once again. Thank you, Mom, Penny Summerall.
Good afternoon. It's good to be back.
And I really think it's actually suitable that we have you here, especially given our guest's background and your background.
I think so. Yes, exactly. That's just what I was thinking about as I was reading over his information.
Right? I was like, oh wow, this will actually work out pretty perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are wondering, Ron is not with us today. He is working right now, trying to get done. That way some dogs can have their yard back. We are very much animal enthusiasts. And then also we have a pretty big announcement. Courage has made his debut a week earlier than we expected him to. So yes, if my mom is the only one here and you guys don't hear from me, that is why. I'm taking care of a tiny human. So we will go with the flow and still definitely hear from our guest. And thank you to our live viewers who are with us already. Alrighty. So the main thing I wanted to make sure I talked about was I do still have a deal going for tarot readings. So if you were still interested, we still have the pay what you can tarot readings available until the 15th, which was technically his due date. So yeah, if you're interested in that, that is still available. Reach out through Crystal Dragon Illumination Facebook or Instagram, and we will get you set up. And if you ever get a reading, it could be me or Ron that does it, just FYI. So if I'm indisposed and you want a reading, we will get it done for sure. Mom, do you have anything you want to say in general today?
Oh, I tell you, it's just we're praying it gets a little cooler and get a little bit of rain here in Texas. These days at 30, 32 days of over 100-degree temperatures. It's been pretty rough and no rain whatsoever for about a month and a half. So
Wow.
we're just praying for a lot of rain and going with it in that direction.
Trying to cool down, huh?
Exactly.
Well, I know we got a little bit of rain the other day here in New Mexico. So I'm sorry we didn't share it with you that far down into Texas.
Usually y'all were sending it this way and then you quit.
I know. When we first got here a couple of years ago, every time it would seem we would get it, and then the next day y'all would be getting rain.
Exactly.
Well, all right. So without further ado, it is Self-Empowerment Week, and we are looking to empower, I think, entrepreneurs is like the main person we're empowering today with our guest's background. Let me find something to say. So yeah, we'll go. Pardon me. We'll go ahead and introduce our guest, which is Cornell Green. He is a tech professional, author, and educator, small business development specialist, and a heck of a lot more. Came from some pretty big companies, started his own company instead back in 2008, and now we are blessed with his presence here today. Welcome, Cornell.
Hey, hello. It is my pleasure. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Penny. Good talking with you. And first of all, I would just like to shout out to our main host, Hannah. As she said, she's had a kid and, and she's actually still here. So talk about commitment to purpose. And as we were joking backstage before we went live, we now have a new member of the community. So it's kind of appropriate that today we're talking about laws of community. It certainly talk about being on brand and on message. That's certainly going with it. And it is my pleasure to be here. As I was discussing with your mom, Penny, moms are very important to me. I was very close to mom. And I think, well, moms are the source of all community. Let's be real.
Yeah, that is true. You gotta,
So
somewhere.
It's yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. You know, it's kind of interesting that our topic is about community. What's been happening to me in the past few weeks? I mean, we scheduled this more than a month ago, and
Oh,
it just
so far
seems
in advance that I think
yes,
I got lost between the lines somewhere.
you know. But it just what's been happening. I mean, you know, there's a saying there are no coincidences. But so
Yeah.
many things have been happening in my life that just speak to community. There was a gentleman who actually has an organization. It's like a subsidiary of his main organization. He is in Brooklyn, New York. He has an organization called Urban Nights, and it's a community outreach sort of thing where he tries to rally people to do things specifically from a male point of view. You know, that men should live as brothers, fatherhood, brotherhood, and respect for women. And he has now a not-for-profit called Community Empowerment, of all things. A
Oh,
couple of
wow.
years ago, he and I had a bit of a falling out over, of all things, money, but more so in integrity on his part. And as I told him, I was never upset with him as a person, but you have to come in integrity. That's an essential, integral part of community. You know, without which that's literally the glue that holds community together. Just say what you do, say it the way you're going to do it the way you said it. You know,
Exactly.
otherwise you're just not in integrity. And like I told him, I was like, I got nothing against you. If I saw you on the street, I would say hello to you, but I can't do business with you. And he restored his integrity. And as I told him when we started speaking with each other and working together again, I says, look, you don't restore your integrity with me. You restore your integrity with yourself. That's a conversation you have to have with you. As long as you are going to honor your word, that was the only issue that we had. In fact, we spoke yesterday. I was taking a ride around Randall Park because we had some wonderful weather here in New York yesterday. And he gave me a call. We're now working together again. And again, as you hear, I'm in New York. You might hear the siren in the background. Welcome to the Big Apple. I'm going to let that go past. Hopefully, they're not coming for me. And, you know, and again, he was like, I don't know what happened, what we were set. And I said, look, let me just say this to you now, my brother. Between us as men, the past is past. It's in the rearview mirror. There is never a need for us to speak about the past again. That's done. Now here we are together, working for a common cause, moving into the future, and that's all that matters. I don't believe in holding grudges, and I in my life, I suppose everyone has had experiences when they have done things they weren't particularly proud of. I have had some transgressions in my past that cost me dozens of friendships. You know, a close friendship with someone that I thought was, as the expression goes, a ride or die kind of person who has now been out of my life longer than he was ever in my life, and that was almost a score of years,
Oh,
which
wow.
lapsed me into a depression for 3 years that, I mean, literally took me out. I could not socialize. I could not work. I was in a crushing depression for 3 years behind this. The thing is, I'm not that guy. So what I have learned from that experience of my own is I do not judge people because there's a difference between who people are and how they behave. And now here we are in this culture, especially here in social media and the internet, where people go back into the past and dig up something that somebody said or a video from 10 or 15 years ago, and then they want to cancel them. They're not that person anymore. I mean, good gosh, if people were to judge me on the thing that I did 23 years ago, you know, I might as well just go live in a cave, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not that guy again, and I will never do what I did then. And also I will have compassion for people who experience depression. I did not understand what it
Hmm.
was until I experienced it myself. And I was one of those people, oh, well, just get over it. Just cheer up. You snap out of it.
Yeah.
Depression's
It's
not
not
about
that easy.
emotion. It's not. In fact, I think they've misnamed it. People who are experiencing depression aren't sad. Okay,
Yeah.
it's if anything, if they could feel sorrow, they would be experiencing emotions.
Oh, they would. Yeah, they would be experiencing something.
Exactly. It is a void. It is literally an abyss of it's like a black hole within yourself.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
of course, I didn't realize that until I went through it on my own. And sometimes I guess you have to screw up in order to understand what it
Yeah.
is, in order to have compassion for
Right.
people and say, okay, who am I to judge somebody? You know, and I think part of community is, again, don't excuse people for bad behavior. Like I said,
Right.
with the women that I just got together, He restored his integrity, and thus we are able to work together, and we are able to be together on a personal level of friendship as well as a professional level of integrity. So because of my past transgressions, I learned, don't judge him, evaluate his behavior and call him to stand on his integrity, but don't judge him as a person because he might have behaved out of sorts. And
Right.
always be open to the fact that he can correct that behavior.
Yes.
So, would you say that all of this also ties into what you kind of preach with the do business better as well? Because I feel like it does somehow.
Yes, yes. In fact, I was just having a conversation with a client of mine that things happen. Actually, she has a pet care and dog walking business, which obviously was severely impacted by the pandemic shutdown. And she's a single mom of two kids, and so there's a lot of stuff that she's going through. And every now and again, I like to check up on my clients. My clients are my clients. I don't look at clients as how much money am I making off of you. Like I have a saying with my clients, say, I'm not here to make money off of you. I'm here to do business with you. And again, I have a soft spot in my heart for mothers, especially single mothers. My mom was a single mom until I was 12 years old when she remarried my stepfather, who is deceased. Actually, he died, before she did. Um, so a single mom, especially not for nothing, a single black mom, I'm gonna carry a special torch for that. And so I just reached out to her, and she's like, "Oh, I see that you're doing workshops. I'm doing workshops with a local not-for-profit Harlem Business Alliance." And he's like, "I need some workshops on creating content and marketing my business." So I was telling her about one of my workshops I have, which is for creating content, what I call starting your drip, where DRIP is an acronym that stands for direct, relevant, inviting, and progressive, which are the four steps for creating good and effective content, particularly in like a social media campaign or an email, outbound email campaign. So she was saying, well, what do you mean when you say direct? I mean, and basically she gave the example of a call to action. It's like, let's say buy now, or is that direct? I was like, well, no, that's a call to action. That's giving a direction. But when I say direct, I mean it has to be speaking directly to the person that you're talking to. It has to relate directly to their desires and requirements, and it has to direct their focus attention to considering doing business with you. I said, because the mistake that small businesses make is that they try to market their service or their product instead of their value. People buy what they want before they buy what they need. Nobody wakes up in the morning caring that I design web platforms or that I do small business coaching or that I'm a public speaker. They want to save time, make money, and get more customers. If I can do that for them by building them an effective web platform that's going to engage their clients, take them the journey from a casual contact to a committed customer, that's going to help them start and continue the conversation about value with a total stranger that's going to convert them into a lifelong customer, then that's what they're going to consider doing business with. The fact that I design websites, who cares? Unfortunately for me, nobody wakes up in the morning saying, that Cornell Green is a swell guy. I think I'll give him some business because he needs money. Said nobody ever. you know. And to
Right.
your question, Hannah, yes, I like to. Before I try to sell any service to my customers, I try to get them into the mindset of understanding that while all business is sales, sales is a conversation about value. And it's like, wait a minute, you said all business is sales, and then you tell me that I shouldn't try to sell people anything. How, isn't that a contradiction? It's like, no, 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 no. It's not. Because sales is not selling. Sales is offering value that people will choose to consume. And the best salespeople in the world understand how to get inside the minds and the desires of what people want to buy. Like the typical, we always like to make fun, and so many television series and movies make fun of the car salesman, right? But what makes an effective car salesman? They're going to see a person walking in the lot, and they're not going to rush them right away. They're going to sit and observe. Which cars are they looking at, and how are they looking at them? Okay, they might look at the economy car, and what are they going to do? They're going to look at the price. They're going to look inside really quickly. Then they're going to go over to the kind of premium car, and they're going to look at it with affection. So now I know That's a person that I see what they want. They're probably budget concerned. So now I know how to approach them. Now somebody else walks in, they go right to the most expensive car. You can tell by the way they're dressed and by their posture. Money's not even an issue with them. This is a person that the car salesman comes and says, okay, we've got some nice cars on the lot, but I get a feeling that what you're interested in, you might want to come inside. I'll be right inside when you're ready. I'll show you some of the stuff out of the catalog that's not even here. Because that person wants the prestige car. They're a rich person amongst rich people. They're looking for a car that's going to impress their rich friends. So I know I'm going to sell you the car that's got to be special ordered, you know? And it's understanding that people buy from their desires. Like I was saying, sell to the heart and the head will follow, you know? But sell to the head and there's regret tomorrow. Anything I can talk you into, I can talk you out of. But nobody talks themselves out of their own dream. And so really for anything, whether you sell a product, whether you're an affiliate, a franchisee, whether you're an independent person or an employee, when you understand that people buy from their desires, and it's not trying to trick people or to hustle them, but it's really trying to understand the nature of what makes people buy something. They buy what they want, sometimes to the detriment. You know, and again, I use an example for men and women, not trying to stereotype, but I grew up in a household full of women. I was raised by my mother, my mom's older sister, my aunt, my older sister, my mother's mother, and my mother's mother's mother. So a lot of women in my life and in my upbringing. And I know one thing about women, that women will go out and want to be stylish, and sometimes they will wear a pair of shoes that, let's just say, they're not exactly orthopedically designed, but but they look fabulous with the particular outfit they're wearing. And I worked in offices and I saw a lot of the secretaries and the female workers. The first thing they will do when they get into the office is they'll kick off the heels, and they got that pair of flats that underneath their desk. And that's what they'll wear walking around in the office all day. But for their commute, when maybe they want to catch somebody's eye, they're wearing those, 3-inch stiletto pumps, which are uncomfortable as heck, but gosh, they make their legs look fabulous. Similarly, especially during my years as a musician in my 20s, I know the guy. He's spending every last dollar he's got on the car note of that fancy car. Now he's living by candlelight with cable spools and packing crates as furniture, eating sardines and crackers because he's spending every last dime on that car because he wants to look fly when he rolls up to the club and, hey, check me out. All right. Now, yeah, you want to come? Well, let's go to a motel room, baby. Have a special night, because he can't take her home because he's got no furniture. He's got an empty refrigerator. He's got 3 outfits in his closet, because he's spending all his money because he wants to look impressive. People buy what they want, even when common sense would say, bro, take public transportation, save up for a car when you can afford it. But no, I want the car now. I want to impress people. People buy what they want. Now, I'm not trying to get people to spend money on things that they don't need, but I understand. And again, I'm a tech guy. I used to try to sell my services by talking about my services. Oh, I develop websites on the WordPress platform, which is an open source content management system, which is the number. And you're already asleep before I finish that sentence. Nobody cares about that. Even if they understand it, they don't care. Like I said, it took me 5 years to realize, here's my pitch. Would you like to save time, make money, make more money, and get more customers? And if you're nodding your head, like Penny's nodding her head, then the conversation continues. Now you might ask me, yes, how do we do that? Then I say, we do that with an online platform. What does that mean? Well, that means that's a way for you to engage people in a conversation and carry the conversation to take them from casual contact to converted customer. And notice, no mention of any technology in that.
No.
Because nobody cares how. They care, what can you do for me? And the reason I call my
product.
Yes. Yeah. Because the end result is what it does for them, not how it does for them. Like I say, again, going back to cars, if they sold cars based on performance, then you'd go into a auto showroom and they would lift the body off the chassis and you would see the drivetrain and the transmission, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. I don't care how many cylinders it is. I don't care whether it's disc brakes or drum brakes. Does it look nice? I'm buying an Infiniti or an Acura because I like the sleek lines and the tilt steering wheel and whatever. And it better drive when I step on the gas. It better stop when I step on the brakes. Notice, even with computers, you don't see commercials about what kind of chip it's in or how many megahertz or processor or RAM. Nobody. Does it work? Can I run the software that I need to run?
Yeah.
I don't care. Computer's a computer's a computer. Only distinction that matters is PC versus Mac. Other than that, I don't care about the specifications. I got three things I need. I need my word processor, I need my web browser, and maybe I need my graphic thing to make images. That's all I care about. Can I run it? Good. The yeah, blah, blah, blah. As long as it doesn't slow down when I run my stuff, I'm good. Don't care about it. Windows is 7, 10, 11, 86, 43. I don't care. That might matter to Microsoft. Doesn't matter to people. They go to Best Buy or Circuit City and they buy the computer and it comes with the stuff on it. Can I afford it? Is it going to do everything I need it to do? That's all that matters. So I had to learn, stop talking about the stuff. Talk to the customer about what they want. And kind of had to knock myself on the head and remember that's why my business is called 21st Century CommunIT Solutions. It's a community built. At first, I thought it was IT for the community. And I actually realized this year that I even had it wrong and I created the name of the business. It's not IT solutions for the community, it's community solutions that happen to involve IT. That's why IT is in the middle. You can take the IT out and it's still community solutions. And it's like, wow. Okay. And that's why when we were discussing which of your podcasts I would want to be on, I was like, well, community. Once I realized that you had that, because community is everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Excellent.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love the name of your company.
Right. Me too.
And actually, I sort of narrowed it down. If you go to my website, you'll see it's actually just CommunIT Solutions, just like Federal Express is now FedEx, and things kind of get narrowed down. So it's like, because first of all, we're in 2023. I think people get that it's the 21st century. So I think that, that's the legal name of my business, as registered in the state of New York. But the common name of it now, it's just CommunIT Solutions. Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the community. We're talking about solutions, and like I said, the IT is almost incidental, because a lot of what I do, the workshops that I hold, it's not even talking about the community. It's really talking about the lesson. It's not talking about the IT.
Right.
It's talking about the lessons I've learned in the and just a little minor correction. It was the subprime mortgage meltdown of 2008 that ultimately forced me to go independent, but I didn't go independent until 2010. I was laid off at the end of 2009. I was working as IT manager for an architectural design firm that had, like I said, you've probably never heard of them, Gwathmey Siegel and Associates Architects. Haven't heard of them, but you've probably heard of some of their customers. Little minor independent director by the name of Steven Spielberg. An up and coming aspiring comedian by the name of Jerry Seinfeld. Hope the guy make something of himself these days. Small organization called the United Nations, a little school called Yale University. A tiny little group called the W Hotel chain. So these were their clientele, and I used to joke that my employers are millionaires whose clients are billionaires. So I won't get laid off unless the entire economy crashes.
Oh my goodness.
And then the entire economy. I thought I was joking. How that was like job security. I would still be working there. But when the global real estate market crashes, a company that designs buildings for high-end clients kind of is having a bit of a problem. Now, they laid off 12 architects before they let me go, which showed the value I was bringing them, but still they finally did have to let me go. And I shot my resume around, figuring, okay, I might have to take a little bit of a pay cut. Maybe I won't be making six figures, but maybe 80, 90, something like that. Every job offer wanted me to do 4 job titles for 80% of the one salary I was making. And after the 4th offer came in like that, I was like, okay, wait a minute. The only person I can work that hard for is myself. And that's why I started. I had no interest or desire to start a business. If the subprime mortgage meltdown hadn't happened, I would happily still be working at that job. You never would have met me, because I would have been quite perfectly satisfied being an employee. I loved the job. I liked the people, the environment. Weekends were an interruption of my ability to play in my sandbox. I woke up on Mondays looking forward to going to work. And the money was very good. So, there was no bad part. And And as I say in my book that I wrote, published in 2016, Shameless Self-Promotion. This is my book, Do Business Better, Why Small Businesses Fail and How Not to. The introductory chapter is titled 2 Years of Steady Referrals Almost Ruined My Business. Now, why do I say that? Before I even got fully laid off, remember I told you I was a musician in my 20s, I still was playing a little bit on the side in a band with someone that I actually had met all the way back in 93 when I was working at my first IT job at Lehman Brothers. And she and her boyfriend at the time had a band. I was playing bass, and her boyfriend's cousin was playing lead guitar with us occasionally. So I'm there lamenting my woes, the fact that I've gotten laid off and soon I won't be working at my job anymore, and was thinking of going independent. And he says, "Oh, I know a couple that lives in Chelsea that has an art gallery and they need some IT work. Let me give you their number." So I got their number and I got lots of work from them, and I got referrals from them, and I got lots of work from those referrals, and I got referrals from referrals. And for 2 years, the phone rang off the hook. I was doing almost as well as before I got laid off. So I figured, well, life is good. This is the way it's supposed to go, right? Everything's wonderful. Until 2 years later, the phone stopped ringing.
Right.
And I realized, oh, wait a minute. I haven't been doing business for the past 2 years. I've been doing work, because business is not what you do. Business is selling what you do and getting the next customer. And I wasn't the one doing that.
Hmm.
And I realized I don't know how to make the phone ring.
Right.
If someone asks me, can you do X? Either I can or I can't. And if I can, they say how much. If they like the price, we do business. But if
Right.
someone were to ask me at that point, what can you do for my business? I would start reciting my resume. And it's like, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, what can you do for my small business? And I didn't know how to answer that question. So everything that's in my book and everything that's in my workshops and my courses and everything that's in the coaching that I do in the Do Business Better curriculum is what I had to learn following that second year in order to survive.
Oh,
Because,
awesome.
I realized the fundamentals of business I had no idea about. And then once I figured them out for myself, I was like, I'm willing to bet you that there's a lot of people who are like me. They know how to do the thing that they do, but they don't know how to make a business of it.
Right.
And like they say in the world of coaching and online education, you don't have to be an expert. You just have to know a little bit more than the people that you're teaching.
Yeah.
So I'm not a millionaire. I'm not Tony Robbins. I'm not Russell Brunson. I'm not a member of the 2 Comma Club. But I have learned the basic fundamentals of what it takes to do a business. And like I said, I've learned to reduce my marketing message, my unique value proposition to would you like to save time, make more money, and get more customers? That's the question. It's not about the tech. It's not about the how. And again, that took me 5 years to figure out that was my marketing message, not what I do, not my years of experience, not the
Yeah.
things and the tech and the blah, 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 blah. And so for everyone, it's for them to learn, how do you reduce your marketing message to your value proposition? Because once you know your value proposition, you know who it's valuable for. So you know who your target market is. And once you know that, then you know who your potential customers might be. And now you know how to engage them in that sales conversation, which is,
Yeah.
I understand what you're looking for. I see the car you're looking at. I see the way you're looking at. So let's talk. You want that car. Obviously, you don't have the money to buy that up front. Let's talk a payment plan. Because
Awesome.
I'm not trying to sell you the most expensive car, but I'm trying to get you not to buy that discount car because that's what you have in your pocket right now. I want to
Right.
give you what you want.
That middle ground, basically. And
Yeah.
I really like how you got to your ideal customer, because a lot of the things, I feel like they want you to start with your ideal customer, and it's like, well, I don't know what my ideal customer is.
Yeah,
I just know what I sell.
exactly. And so many of us knew, like, what I call the accidental entrepreneurs, because like me with the subprime mortgage meltdown now, there are a bunch of people who, because of COVID and the pandemic shutdown, they're in this situation where the last job they had was the last job, and they're going to have to start a business. And again, they don't ideal customer. I've never been in business. I don't even I don't know how to answer that. All I know is what I can do. So what's the journey? How do you get
Right.
to that point? Because you can't really be in business until you can answer that question. But and so many business coaches, and that's why I decided to do workshops, because I was working with organizations that did entrepreneurial training, and I was a presenter for them. I would present for the first of their 12-week programs, 12-week program that they had. It was an organization called Operation Hope. And I saw that they were talking to these brand new newbies as if they had taken a business course. It's like, these aren't MBA graduates. You're asking them to answer questions. Say, okay, prepare this business plan. So here's the executive summary, and what's your competitor analysis, and what's your 5-year financial projections. Like, they don't know any of this. They just got thrown into the deep end of the pool, and they can barely dog paddle. So you're going to have to give them, you're trying to put them into the second year college course, and they need like a remedial class in community college. And that's what my workshops are.
And you got a fantastic foundation with what you're doing for everyone, and that's uh, becoming an interest in the individuals that you're working with.
Yes.
Is so important in
Yes.
community. I know in our community, when you invest in those people and what they are, where they are right then, and give them the encouragement that you can go just a little bit more.
Yes, yes. Penny, you speak so. In fact, it was the thing I was just about to say. That was a perfect introduction, as if you read my mind. I have a friend and a peer who actually attended one of my workshops and then came up to me and said, "Hey, I like the cut of your jib. We should partner together." She was also an IT professional. And
Right.
we had a third person, and we formed a consortium that we called Blue Tech Initiative. And the third party, he had a timeshare with his wife in the Berkshire, so he would go up there for these retreat weekends where we would brainstorm. And Ruby, this is her name, Ruby Thomas. She put two ideas in my head. First of all, she was the one, believe it or not, who created this curriculum. Not the curriculum, but the idea. Because she'd attended a couple of my workshops, and she said to me, "Cornell, you don't just have a series of workshops, you've got an entire curriculum." And I like to joke. I said, at that moment, I didn't know whether to kiss her or kick her under the table, because it's like, you realize that A, you're right, and B, I don't know what a curriculum is. So that means I gotta learn what a curriculum is and how to create one, and that's like a couple of years of work no one's going to pay me to do, but I have to do it. But she was
Yeah.
also the one who said to me, it's like, when you say, talking about the name of my business, CommunIT Solutions, said, your community is not just your community of peers. You are in a community that consists of you and your customers. And that
Right.
was, bing, a light bulb moment for me, because I always looked at my customers as separate from me. There's me, the professional, the vendor, the consultant,
Right.
and then there's
Exactly.
that gaggle of people, like the pond I'm fishing in. It's like, no, as you just said, Penny, so eloquently, you have to be a part of that community. You have to show that you have their interests and values in mind and at heart. And that's why they're going to choose to do business, because they see that you're there to be of service to them and not simply to exploit them because you want to submit an invoice.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost. Go ahead.
It's almost as I had to get my husband to understand with showing livestock, which all my children did, is he always would just say, they need to go down there and take care of that. They need to go take care of it. I said, no, honey, we have to show them how to do it, be with them, and do it with them to
Yes,
teach them how to do it.
exactly. Exactly. And when
Because
you are a member,
they don't know responsibility as being born.
yeah,
That is a
yeah,
teachable fact.
exactly. And when people see, that I heard this a long time ago, and especially for an egghead like me, I need to hear these kinds of things. But the saying is that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Care.
You
Amen.
know, and it's really so. I mean, that's why the law as a community. I say this to every aspiring entrepreneur out there, especially at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey. You must form a community. Stop looking for customers. Stop all this stuff about
Mhm.
forming a funnel and how do you have the three secret opening lines for your email thing or the one tap. There is no shortcut. There is no magic. Commerce is thousands of years old. Once people stopped
Correct.
bartering or directly exchanging, there was commerce. It's millennia old. And there's no secret, there's no shortcut. Be a part of a community, show people that you care about them, that you are there to be of service for them, and they will
Yeah.
choose to do business with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, walk a mile in their shoes saying is
Exactly.
what I've got coming to my head.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And so
Wow.
many
Well,
people start to try to shortcut that. And I hate seeing these things that pop up in my Facebook timeline of, I'll show you how to get the big ticket customers and you can make $10,000 a customer. Look, yeah, it's easier to count to 100,000 by 10,000s than by 100. But if they're telling me to go for the big ticket customer, aren't they telling me to step over the little ticket customer?
right.
And who takes care of them?
Everybody is important. It doesn't
Yes.
Yeah.
matter what your socioeconomic, or if you're disadvantaged, or what you are. If you're the billionaire, you're
Yes.
still important.
Yes. Yes. And F.W. Woolworth, Frank Winfield Woolworth, in 1913, built the Woolworth building. Okay, and he was the founder of Woolworth. I don't know if you remember them. They were a discount store. They were actually one of the original five and dime stores. And even back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, five and dime was kind of an insult, you know. But he had an attitude. He says, "Look, not everybody's got a dollar in their pocket, but everybody's got a nickel or a dime." And he actually standardized commodity items. You know, it used to be if you wanted a spool of thread, you went to a bunch of vendors and they had just a bunch of thread and you borrowed it. I'll give you 6 cents, 2 cents, 3 cents for it. He's like, no, it's 5 cents on the spool of thread. And that spool of thread has to have a minimum quality because I'm not going to sell a 2 cent spool of thread for 5 cents. Significant about the Woolworth building until 1930, I believe it was, when the Empire State Building went up. It was the tallest building in the world. And
Wow.
F.W. Woolworth paid for that building cash
Wow.
out of his revenue from his five and dime stores.
Wow.
By taking care of the nickel and dime customers, he was able to commission, design, and construct the tallest building in the world, didn't have to take out a loan, didn't have to take out a mortgage. That's what happens when you take care of the little guy.
Exactly.
Well said. Well, we are getting we're past the end where we usually end. So I did want to say, if anyone is looking for the book that he mentioned, you can find that in the description. Wherever you're at, it should be in the description on the podcast as well. So yeah, go check out his book. Go check out his business. It looks like the absolute best way. Let me see the website. Yeah, courses.communit solutions.
CommunIT.
CommunIT solutions, technically. Sorry.
Also, the Facebook group, you can check it out. Do Business Better on Facebook. You'll see my smiling face there. That's where you find it. Just put in "Do Business Better," 3 separate words in the search. You'll find the
Awesome.
group. And thank you. It's been my pleasure being with you both. Thank you so much for the invitation, and always happy to talk about community. It's as I say, it's the name of my business. It's the key to my success. And it's something I just consider in and out of business as something that's very important because the better world is to create a community. We are in the ultimate experiment in community, which is the United States of America.
Hey, you got that.
Yes.
Absolutely. It has been
Still a work in
enjoyable.
progress. Still a work in progress, but we're working on it. And when you consider where we started from, we made a lot of positive progress.
Most definitely. Well, I did have one last really quick question for you because for Ron, who is not here, if you would let us know your number one law of community.
Number one law of community is very simple. Always be of service.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you once again, Cornell, for joining us. I'm so glad we got so much great insight from you. This has been absolutely amazing, and we will let you get back to the Big Apple life and whatever you have coming up next.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will try to check out some more of your podcasts. It's been a pleasure being a guest, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. As I mentioned, just a little plug, I'm looking to launch probably in the fall my podcast, The Failure Guy. Failure
Oh,
is an acronym,
awesome.
first attempts in learning using real experience. And I'd love to have you as a guest when I relaunch the podcast.
Oh, yes, yes, that's right. We had talked about that, of course. So, yeah, everyone go check out Cornell's stuff. If you have a small business, definitely get some help from him. I think, don't you work with Joanna as well,
Yes,
if
yes,
I'm
I
not
do. In fact,
mistaken?
that's
Yeah.
how we met
Yeah,
at
so that's how
Joanna's
we
Play
met,
Shop.
and Joanna's been on before, and it's all a big connection here in our
Yeah.
community.
And
So
actually, I
yeah.
built her website.
Oh, awesome. How cool. Yeah, we definitely have a lot more discussing to do behind the scenes. However, as for today, I did want to say thank you so much and let you go back to your Big Apple life.
Yes, thanks. And I'll let you go back to your new momhood. Thank you,
Yes.
mom.
Yeah.
And thank
Thank
both of
you.
you moms. And just have a blessed day and be at peace. And we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Cornell. Talk soon.
Thank you.
Well, alrighty. I guess that's probably about it. The next episodes, I will say this: the next episodes that we have coming up, we are recording one tomorrow morning, but the next 2 weeks will be recording still. We are not going to change that because not every guest is able to make it to our live shows, just like not everyone is able to watch our live shows. Um, if you can't go onto podcast platforms, you can listen to us there. Pardon my French, not watch. You can watch any of the lives over again. Our YouTube is probably the best place to find them. Definitely check out the YouTube or go on Facebook. And then, yeah, follow us on podcast platforms. Or if there's anywhere else you would like to see us and we're not there, let us know and we will try our best to do that. Mom, do you have anything you would like to say lastly?
I'm just so excited I have my grandson here, and I thank you for allowing me to co-host with you today. I've enjoyed it, and gee, it's a great week.
Yes, most definitely. And so, yeah, we will see you next week from with a blast from the past type thing. We do mention it in the recording where we're like, hey, it's in the past. So we're all like, weird like that. But nonetheless, thank you to everyone who joined us tonight, and hope you have a great rest of your evening. And we will see you next week on Laws of Community for Homeless to Home Free. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.